Good morning, students. Please let me know, can you all able to hear me? And can you all able to see the screen? Good morning, everyone. We are in the module 3, memory management. This is lecture number 4. In this class, we'll continue our the topic non-contiguous memory allocation. In the previous class, we have an introduction and a brief discussion about the non-contiguous memory allocation. In this class, we shall try to see the implementation ways for non-contiguous memory allocation. Today's topic is implementation of non-contiguous memory allocation. There are two methods, paging and segmentation. Along with that, one more method is there, that is called hybrid. Okay, so we are going to discuss these three things. There are two fundamental approaches to implement the non-contiguous memory allocation. One is paging, and the second one is segmentation. And the third one is not the fundamental approach. And third one is the derivation from these two things. That is a combination of these two things. It is called an hybrid approach. So hybrid approach in the sense including both the segmentation paging. So segmentation with paging. Okay, there are two fundamental approaches to implement the non-contiguous memory allocation. One is paging and the second one is segmentation. Along with that, we'll be studying one more approach termed as hybrid approach. It is nothing but a segmentation with paging. At the end of this class, we shall try to discuss about the comparison between the contiguous and non-contiguous if time permits. Okay, let's begin the class. First thing is paging. Paging in the sense, the name itself says definitely it be having some pages. That pages will be helping in the implementation of this non-contiguous memory allocation. In paging, what just to tell you all that we are learning a memory management concept. In that we are knowing about the memory allocation techniques. Now we are in the non-contiguous memory allocation technique. Now we are learning its implementation, how to implement non-contiguous memory allocation. Okay, so please bear in mind that we are talking about the memory area. Okay, and process will be allocated the memory area. This is the basic thing to be remembered. Okay, in paging, each process consists of a fixed size components called pages. We know that what is component, meaning of component. Component is nothing but the subdivision of the process. If there is a process P, its subdivision will be, we are calling it as a component. Okay, in paging, each process consists of fixed size components called pages. The size of each page is defined by the hardware of a computer, and well as there will be demarcation of the pages. That is implicit. Okay, I repeat again. Pages are nothing but the components of each process, where each component is coming with a fixed size. Pages are of fixed size. Those are nothing but the components of a process. The memory can accommodate an integral number of pages. The memory is partitioned into memory areas that have the same size as a page, and each of these memory areas is considered separately for allocation to a page. Okay, please remember these 2 points. What is the paging means, or what is the meaning of pages? It is nothing but a fixed size component of a process. The size of a page is determined by the hardware of a computer and the implicit demarcation of pages. Okay, and the partitioning of the memory. Now coming to the actual concept, partition of the memory area is done according to the pages, where each page is having the same size, and each of these partition memory areas is considered separately for allocation of the page. Then by this way we can able to get the any memory area as well as a free memory area, all of which of the same size. Okay, yesterday we took an example. There the memory area was with the different sizes. Okay, now we are getting the memory area along allocated memory area for process as well as a free memory area. which is having exactly the same size as with the page. By this, what will achieve? We can achieve that external fragmentation is not there. Okay, by using the same size of the pages in the memory area, we can avoid the external fragmentation. But there will be some internal fragmentation because the last page, okay, the last page of a process is allocated a page whose size is smaller than the actual uh, required exact page size. Okay, we are telling that fixed size pages will be there, but for the last page there will be some page size mismatch with the fixed size page, so an internal fragmentation can occur. Next thing is segmentation. In segmentation, the components, the process components will be called as the segments. Okay, in segmentation, a programmer identifies the process components as the segments. A segment is a logical entity in a program. For example, a set of functions, data structures, or objects. If you take a program, for example, you're familiar with C program, right? So there is a main function, and you can okay, we'll take an example of a C program where you are performing a calculator. Right, you're performing a calculator operation. In calculator operation, how many functions are there? Addition is there, subtraction is there, multiplication is there, division is there. Okay, so we'll assume these operations. So what we will be writing the C program, we'll be constructing the C program in such a way that we'll be having one main program. Apart from that, one function for addition, one function for subtraction, one function for division, one function for multiplication. So what we call these functions are called a set of functions. Okay, each and these functions can be called as the segments. Okay, that is an example which is you are very familiar with that. Okay, moving to the next point, the segmentation facilitates. Okay, since we are implementing the non-contiguous memory in a segmentation, it should have some positive things, right? Yes, the facilities of segmentation is sharing of code, sharing of data, and sharing of the program modules between the different processes. If there are process or three process P1, P2, P3, then there in the program code or program data and the program modules can be shared with among them. But here, unlike the paging, the segments have different sizes. Whereas paging, it is having a same fixed size, but in the segments, it is having different sizes. When the segments having different sizes, the kernel as it's supposed to use the memory reuse techniques. Okay, when the sizes of the memory area are varying, then the kernel has to use the memory reuse techniques. Some of the techniques are first fit allocation, best fit allocation. Okay, and in this, external fragmentation occurs. Okay, remember in segmentation, external fragmentation can occur when we take into the comparison of paging and segmentation. In paging, there is no external fragmentation, but internal fragmentation can arise. Whereas in segmentation, we can expect external fragmentation. Then moving to the next approach, that is the hybrid approach. Why hybrid means it is a mixture of both segmentation and paging. That name is segmentation with paging. Okay. In this approach, we are combining both the segmentation and paging. Why? Because it is having some features which is helpful. Here we can get sharing of code, sharing of data, and sharing of modules between the processors, and we can avoid external fragmentation. Okay, but internal fragmentation can occur because of paging. If you remember in the previous slide, I mentioned the differences between paging and segmentation. There I mentioned about the occurrence of external fragmentation and internal fragmentation. When we use this both approach, the segmentation with paging, definitely the facilities of the segmentation and the fragmentation things of the paging and segmentation will be the main features. Okay, don't need to buy it or don't need to read this concept. You can remember this easily. Hybrid approach of in non-contiguous memory allocation implementation means it is nothing but the segmentation with paging. you write on the facilities of the segmentation. That is, sharing of code is a feature, sharing of data, sharing of program models within the process. And there is no external fragmentation in paging, and we can expect internal fragmentation because of paging. That's it. Then then after this, we need to know this concept. Which concept? From the very first module, we are talking about protection. Correct? If you remember, we are talking about protection also. So when we are talking about the memory, we should be able to protect it, right? When we store some data or when we transfer some data, it should be done in a protected way, right? How to protect that? We need to protect the memory area itself, and then the data can be secure. Correct? If our pocket is stitched safe, we can place the amount, the cards in it. If the pocket is turned out, whatever you put now, it will fall down. Same thing. Okay. Memory protection, it is a scheme. It is used to protect the allocated memory area against interference by other processes. Okay. Memory protection is a scheme. It is used to protect the memory area against or from other process intervention. The memory protection scheme is based on some protection keys, memory protection keys. The memory protections can be used with some minor modification with respect to the different OSs. Whenever a process component is loaded into a memory area, the protection key of all the blocks uh, in that particular memory area will be set to APK. Okay, how the memory protection is functioning? When the process component are loaded into the memory area, the protection key will be set to APK of the process. How does the CPU detects whether the memory protection is working or not? While executing the process. Okay, not before or after completion. While executing itself, the CPU detects whether there is a memory violation or not. If there is a memory violation, if there is a memory violation, how to identify? Simple. What we did, we set the protection key to APK of the process. If the APK of the process is not matching, then it detects a violation. Then what about the memory management unit? The memory management unit implements the memory protection through a bounds check. Bound means the limits. While performing address translation for a logical address, we know that the logical address of any in address translation in the previous class we saw it comes in a pair, that is component I and the byte I. Correct? Component address and its byte address. The value of the component and the byte. Byte is nothing but a part of a component. Component is nothing but a part of a process. So component I comma byte I, by using that we can able to find the logical address. How does it checks? The MMU checks whether the component I actually exists in the program and whether the byte I exists in the component I or not. Okay, whether component I is a part of a process, it will check, and whether the byte I is a part of that particular component, that also it check. And if there any protection violation is there, an interrupt will be raised. Okay, if component I is not there or if byte I is not there, and it says, and the MMU says the memory protection check has failed. Okay, this is a bound means. Okay, bound means the exact value. Okay, the bound checks can be simplified in paging. Okay, it is saying how it is simplified. It is saying that there is no need to check the byte I of a component. Okay, if we use the memory protection with paging, it says that there is no need to check for the byte I, only check for the component type. Because a logical address does not have enough bits to in it to specify value of the byte type. That 6 is the page size. This we saw in the right in one of the topics, that the last page will be having internal fragmentation. Same thing, the logical address may not be sufficient to showcase or depict or show or contain entire the long address. So there is no need to check for the byte I in the memory protection when it is using with the paging. The we'll take an example. When there are assume there are multiple processes where one process is performing reading operation and other process performing read write operation. Okay, um, this is with respect to the segmentation. Okay, in the last slide we saw about the memory protection with the paging. There's no need for checking of the byte in the component type. Now we are seeing the memory protection with the segmentation, where multiple processes can perform a different operation. Okay, next moving into the that completes the implementation of the non-contiguous memory allocation by two fundamental approaches, paging and segmentation, and other with the hybrid approach. Let us let's another 3 minutes. I will conclude this allocation method. Sorry, comparison between contiguous and non-contiguous memory allocation. We are going to compare 4 points in contiguous and non-contiguous memory allocation. Okay, we'll name it as a features. Okay, there are 4 features, and we are comparing contiguous allocation and non-contiguous allocation. What are the features? One is overhead, another is allocation, another is reuse of memory, and the third is swapping. We came across this reuse of memory just now, and allocation this is the main concept, and overhead we'll see what is that, and swapping we already learned in the previous first class, that is swapping out and swapping in. Means if any of the process is not in the execution queue or in schedule, that process will be swapped out and placed in a disk, and whenever there is a free memory, that process can be swapped in. Okay, that this we saw in contiguous memory allocation. Okay, let us see the differences. Overhead in contiguous memory allocation, there is no overhead during the execution of a program. There is no overhead at all. Why? Because the processes are in a contiguous manner. Then in non-contiguous memory, we need to find out the logical address, that is address translation need to be performed. Okay, why? Because we need to find out the component I value as well as the byte value. So there should be we need to find the logical address. So in turn, we need to perform the address translation in non-contiguous memory allocation during a program execution. Then allocation. A single area will be allocated in contiguous memory allocation, whereas several memory areas will be used for allocation in the non-contiguous memory allocation process. Okay, why? Because here, whenever a process is having a more size, then that process will be subdivided into components. Then those components will be allocated to available memory areas. So there will be several memory areas allocation in non-contiguous. Why? Because the one memory area for each of the component. Then reuse of memory. Reuse of memory means there will be internal fragmentation and external fragmentation, and paging and segmentation. Okay, in contiguous memory allocation, internal fragmentation occurs or exists in the partitioned allocation, whereas external non-contiguous memory allocation, we came across there are 4 features: overhead, allocation, reuse of memory, and swapping. There will be no overhead in the contiguous memory allocation during execution, but there will be a need for address translation for to be performed during execution. Why? Because you need to find out the logical address of the component I and byte I. Then in contiguous memory allocation, only single area of memory will be allocated, whereas in non-contiguous, several memory areas need to be allocated. Why? Because so each memory area to be allocated for a individual process component. Then reuse of memory, internal fragmentation exists in the partition allocation, and external fragmentation exists in the first fit, best fit, or non-fit allocation. Coming to non-contiguous memory allocation, we saw that implementation with paging and segmentation. When we go with the paging concept, there will be no external fragmentation, but there will be internal fragmentation. When we go with the implementation of non-contiguous using segmentation, there will be external fragmentation, but there will be no internal fragmentation. This we saw just now in few slides earlier. Then swapping. Coming to swapping, um, In swapping, we know that what is swapping process. There will be swapping out and swapping in. So same thing we are will be discussing here. Unless the computer system provides a reallocation register, means a disk. Okay, a swapped in process must be placed in its original allocated. There should be a reallocation register. Why? Because we are swapping out the process which is not in the schedule. Then when unless there is a reallocation register agreement, yeah, the swapping in process will not take place. Then when coming to non-conditional memory allocation, swapped in process can be placed anywhere in the memory. Okay, I would try to clarify here. Swapping in continuous memory allocation, the memory area should be same. In contiguous memory allocation, whatever the process just swapped out, when it wants to come back into the memory area uh, in contiguous memory allocation, the memory area should be same. Before it was swapped out, no, the same memory area should be. For example, in a contiguous memory allocation, a process is allocated address X, memory area X, and it is swapped out from memory X. And when it is want to be swapped in again, the memory area X should be free. It cannot be swapped into any other memory area Y or Z. It should be swapped into the memory area X. Whereas in non-contiguous memory allocation, once the process has been swapped out, and that process wants to be swapped in, and the memory address need not be the same. The memory address can be any. Okay. These are the differences or comparison between the non-contiguous and non-contiguous memory allocation. By this, I conclude the class. Thank you all for attending, and pardon me for the inconvenience caused in this class. Okay, in the next class, we'll start with the paging concept, and we'll wind up the part paging segmentation and segmentation of paging, and we'll wind up with